Hi Deborah, this is Chris Jones speaking from the north of England. This is the second film I've made for you like this today, but I had to throw the first one away because I mentioned names on it, and really this isn't confidential enough, this way of communicating with people, to make it watertight, so I thought I'd better do it again for you. Part of my motivation in sending you a communication like this is just so you can put a face to the person who's on the other end of the telephone. That's all, really. So you asked me about progress of people on the module. Okay, let me start off by saying a few things about being a teacher on these modules in the first place. This is the strangest way of being a teacher that you could imagine, because in a normal face-to-face lesson, you get an idea about what's going on inside the students' heads, because they either look concentrated or they don't. They reply to your questions or they don't. They look out the window, or they're keen as mustard right at the front, or you got the ones who always go the back for some unknown reason. With an online course, things aren't like that. Things are strange like that. The only communication that you have with people is at a very long distance, as you know. And therefore, it's hard to know what's going on in there, whether they're happy, whether they're sad, whether they understand, whether they don't. It's pretty kind of tricky trying to find out, and it takes a lot of confidence in yourself, I think, to be able to put materials out like that and kind of work in the dark. That said, students, when they show up to a class, obviously, they aren't obliged to speak to you almost. In fact, in our university, students aren't really obliged to turn up at all, certainly not speak in class if they don't want, or participate in discussions. Now, why am I mentioning this to you? Well, it's my experience. I can't back this up with evidence, not yet anyway, but it's my experience that the students who do best on these modules are the ones who really stay close to you. They're the ones who communicate with you, and they're the ones who participate in all the online activities. Not only are these the students who are likely to do best in terms of marks at the end, I think that the students who don't participate in discussions and stuff, I think that these students don't do as well in terms of marks at the end of the module. The ones who really do well are the ones who fully engage. Now then, let's talk about your crew. 3 students, one of whom never logged on. So I took the liberty there of withdrawing that student from the module on the grounds that if you are on a course and you never really show up, in what sense are you on it? Now, as for the others, well, I've had some top class communications from them. The communications that I've seen, the ones that have been sent to me, the discussion points that arise from the exercises, have been pretty good, to be honest with you. But the thing is, there hasn't been an awful lot of them. My communication has kind of been two-way in some respects between myself and another student in a different part of the country. There hasn't been an awful lot of discussion. That said, your students have logged on every week mostly. When challenged on this subject, they said, well, we are doing the exercises between ourselves and we don't really feel as though we can gain anything by communicating with you directly, which is fair enough. And I made inquiries to one student why it was that she hadn't communicated with me very much, and she said that she made a really, really cogent argument. Look, it doesn't say in the handbook that you've got to participate in these exercises. I can manage quite well actually without them. We're doing a lot of the work between ourselves as we look at these materials between us. You never said it was an essential part of the course, so back off. Which I thought was an excellent argument. And when I wrote back to her, I said bravo, because she made a pretty decent argument for what it was that she was doing. So, what we have here is one student who doesn't participate at all and was discontinued. The other two, I would say, come in the mid-range of participation. It's not that they haven't participated, both of them have, and both of them done very well when they have, but they haven't been the most talkative. Now, I don't complain about face-to-face students when they don't communicate very much in class, and I'm not complaining about your two either. I was in communication with the manager of the unit, and he said that he said on behalf of the students that they rather anticipated there'd be more in the way of basic A&P. And that's a good point. Maybe there isn't enough basic A&P. I can quite see that. But I've kind of followed the distribution of subjects that were in the set textbook. And the set textbook has one chapter in 12 for anatomy and physiology, and that's what I've gone for too. He may be well right here. He may be that the thing needs rebalancing, and I'll need to take account of that. But I'm just explaining now the logic of why it is that I put that much in. So I've got this theory then, Deborah, and the theory is that students who participate more do better than students who participate less. So I'll be very interested to see how these two students hand their work in and how it relates to this theory. I'm hoping, naturally, for the best, but it'll be interesting to see, whether my hypothesis bears fruit. So I hope I've covered everything there, Deborah. If I haven't, just give us a ring, and I'll chat through anything that you want again. I've just put an advertisement for this module in the British Journal of Cardiac Nursing, and I've also put an advertisement in the same issue for a brand new heart failure module. And for the heart failure module, we've got a set textbook in the same way, and the heart failure module, the students will listen to discussions between me and the author of the set textbook. Doesn't get any better than that, Deborah. If you need to get in touch with me, you know where I am. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure attaching a face to an email, and I'll be speaking to you soon, hopefully. Bye now.